Hello one, hello all, it's the most gothiest ghost of them all, Caspa in the flesh, and it's time for a review of Pinkpantheress-Heaven Knows. This is the debut album from UK singer-songwriter, producer Pinkpantheress, who dropped an EP in 2021, which I dug and I actually thought was one of the best EPs of that year, To Hell With It, which had dreamy production, a lot of great melodies on there, and I did see the potential on there, and even though I enjoyed it, I did feel that some of the production on there was a bit skeletal, and a lot of the tracks on there weren't exactly baked to perfection, mostly due to how short they were. But with the dancey, spacey, and even garage-like production, I did see that there was a differentiation between her and her contemporaries. I've always found Pinkpantheress vocals to be sweet, cute, passionate, sleek, and even endearing and very welcoming. Even if there is a shyness to Pinkpantheress's vocals, the lyrics are anything but, and I feel she's able to use that to her advantage. But the tracks this time around on this album have fuller production, more lush production, more textured, more feeling, more lushness, and a lot more color. With production on here not only from Pinkpantheress herself, but also hard dance EDM producer Danny L. Harl, with his quirky, energetic, and atmospheric touch brought to this album, as well as others like London and Binks, who has done production for Zach Fox and BFB the Pac-Man, and Miramasa, who has produced for some of my favorite projects, from Leanne LaHavis, Slow Tie. And the production this time around, it is still dreamy, but it's definitely more textured, more layered, and definitely more sporadic and bustling this time around. And it captures the essence of 2000s dance pop with a lot more creative variation, bringing more futuristic embellishments, rhythms, and a lot more elements to the table, such as many dance genres or many electronic genres such as EDM, liquid drum and bass, jungle, breakbeat, and two-step. While having the production of an electronic artist, she is also bringing the lyrics of a emo artist as well, with subject matter that would have been lyrically taboo for that genre and for the mainstream of that time, that probably wouldn't get any play or a chance on a mainstream pop record back then. Like the conceptual grim premise of her meeting her untimely demise in a bathtub, or tracks of troubling idol worship like on the song True Romance. And she definitely has a knack for taking these dark stories, but concealing them in a peppy EDM lovey-dovey package. And I love the thick density of the chords and breakbeats, and the blissful melodies floating through the track, and the crowd cheering really brings to the thematic focus of the track, and not just tacked on. There's also Mosquito, which I feel coalesces really well with the topical focus of obsession, like on the previous track, as it goes from an obsessed fan over an artist to an obsessed lover over their love interest. And they had a dream they were dead, and the only fear they had was being separated from the person they were involved with. And I love the vibrance of production on here, the ethereal ascending strings, the watery guitar strums with these beautiful whistling melodies, and even some record scratches in there too. Yeah, they're definitely going like 2000s territory, but it's tastefully done and it's more creative than I feel we would have gotten from the mainstream 2000s in the pop field. And we also have the liquid drum and bass bangers on here. Can't forget about those. Like on Isle, that has this tight dance beat, fat bass with twittering keys and pumping rhythms, and these jerky grooves with these psychedelic funky guitar lines. It's very kaleidoscopic, it's very entrancing, and I love how they harmonize on the back end. And the song Feel Complete has this boom bap style production, and absolutely gorgeous weeping strings that just make me feel like I'm just floating around and waltzing with them. It's like being in a fairy tale from the future. It sounds so regal, so majestic, so pristine, and brings such a majesty to the production. And wailing synths with these exuberant crowd cheers, it kind of makes me feel like she's in this fairy tale just singing and everyone's just like cheering her on. It's a very, very magical and very otherworldly moment. The song Blue has these warped, woozy synth chords and reverb guitar strums as Pantheress is depicting the story of this person who has had it with this individual they are dealing with and how they're done with feeling like they're in a one-sided situation where she feels the love she is giving, she is not receiving back, and she feels it is just best to just peace out and just exit from that situation. And I love the bright, fluttering melodies, and I believe those are woodwinds that I'm hearing. I can't tell, but they sound beautiful. After that, there's feelings with this atmospheric bed of organs, with this punch of bold, dark bass, tribal style percussion with shots of synth horn. In a way, it reminds me of what Timbaland was doing in the mid-2000s, but if it was more ambitious. Like, this sounds what could have been the best on Justin's Futuristic Love Sounds album. And I love the haunting piano lines at the end of this track. And there's the closer, Capable of Love, which has this cathedral-like backing vocal that sounds like instrumentation, but is just droning across and just makes it sound so ominous, but also beautiful. With skittering production, the whole track and a lot of the tracks on this album have a beautiful mixture of cacophony, serenity, and blissfulness all in one track. It just sounds so otherworldly. Well, I can say for most tracks on here, for the highlights at least. And I love the variation of instruments between the hook, and the energy is just great. And it's where Pantheress has found a lover and has found someone to be with and feels like this is it. If this doesn't work out, then she may be incapable of love after due to how invested she is in this individual, which I feel is a great way to end off the album. And of course, there's also Boy's a Liar Part 2, but I think that's just ending credits. And a good track, but I don't think really goes well with an album as a closer, so it's a bonus track, so what are you gonna do? If I'm being honest, I feel the only flaw for this album is the features, and not Pinkpantheress at all. Like on the track Nice to Meet You, like Central C is such a non-factor on this track. He sounds like he doesn't even want to be there, like why is he even there? And delivers so little in terms of determination or passion or much of anything. It sounds like he's reading the whole time. And also Bury Me, which I felt was kind of a disappointment due to Kalela being on there, who has put out great stuff in the past, and coming on here with Pinkpantheress and have this be one of the most snooziest tracks on here. I just found it very underwhelming. The beat didn't go much of anywhere. The song didn't go much of anywhere. It just kind of breezes by. And the opener, while is a tone setter, not a very great one. Like Rema, who does not fit well on this track at all, doesn't have much direction here. But aside from that, I think this is a great debut from Pinkpantheress. I think the production is stellar, and sure, not the most powerhouse of all singers, but definitely has character and definitely adds a lot more creativity than most artists who are powerhouse. I would honestly rather hear a more hushed vocal with something to say rather than a powerhouse with nothing to say at all. And I feel Pinkpantheress is kind of hushed, sure, but there's still feeling there. I still feel what she's singing, and her lyrics are great, production's great, and the structure is definitely there this time around too. So yeah, I'm just curious what she's gonna come up with next. I'm feeling a 4 out of 5 on this album. Really enjoyed it. But that's just what I thought. What'd you think? Did you love this album? Did you hate this album? Why?